It's 1955 in Sumner, Mississippi.
We believe in tending to our own business down here.
The disease of division cast a stage for a pandemic of hate and injustice.
And a result of the NAACP and their activities in trying to make something big out of just an ordinary criminal affair in Mississippi.
That ordinary criminal affair Mississippi defense attorney Sidney Carlton is referring to is the kidnapping, beating, shooting, and lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till. His clients, J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant, later admitted to committing the brutal slaying. You're getting a rare glimpse at footage from 1955. It's never been widely shown until now. The power of the footage still potent, but seeing it in person, Emmett Till's open casket funeral was like an antibody to the lies being spread surrounding the circumstances of his murder. His unrecognizable face and body leading to fainting spells and feelings of hopelessness that's still being felt today. At the Northwest African American Museum, an interactive exhibit lives on, detailing this part of history. But the best person to tell it is the man who lived it, who still sees Emmett's face every day. A warning, some of these images in this story may be upsetting.
Our story was not told. They didn't ask us. We need not to forget how we got here.
69 years later, at the age of 85, Reverend Wheeler Parker Jr. is sharing his truth.
Tell me about your relationship with Emmett.
He would have been something. He was destined. I said, he's a typical Leo.
Oh, he was a Leo.
Yeah, he was a Leo all the way, honey.
They were cousins and soon became best friends.
Gonna be in charge.
A confident, charismatic, cool Chicago kid, the antithesis of what was expected of a black boy in the South.
When he found out that I was going to Mississippi, he couldn't believe it. I'm going to Mississippi, and he ain't going. And he just had to go. And they said, we can't sing in Mississippi. Because they knew how the South was. They knew his fun-loving prankster ways wasn't going to work down there.
Why did you even want to go?
Out in the country, swimming, running, chasing the snakes out, stealing watermelon.
Reverend Parker was 16 at the time, and his uncles were younger than him. He says typically it was the elders that kept young children visiting the North in line.
Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. And you know, you got to be very courteous, otherwise you're going to be in real trouble real quick.
You went to the store. What happened that night?
Miss Bryant did come out. She came out of the store, and when she came out, she was going to the left, to our right, to her left. And he whistled. He liked to make people laugh. And when he whistled, we just could have died. We made a beeline for the car. Now, Emmett is afraid now. He's scared because he sees we are afraid. And there's a car behind us. And we said, man, they're after us. They're after us. My uncle sped up. We jumped out of the car, went to the cotton field. Car went right on by. So he begged us not to tell it. This is got there Sunday. This is Wednesday. So we didn't say anything. Thursday went by, Friday went by. Just forgot about it. Just Sunday morning.
They were hunted like animals.
And so these people finna kill us. I knew I had no protection. I couldn't call anybody, and they're outside. It is dark as 1,000 midnight. Down south, when the moon didn't shine, you could not see your hand before your face. My grandfather didn't know what bedroom he was in, and when they started coming my way, walking, and I'm stretching my eyes, shaking like a leaf on a tree, and they entered the bedroom with a flashlight in one hand and a pistol in the other. I closed my eyes to die, and I opened my eyes, they're passing by me, you know. So they found him in the third bedroom, and they took him, and that's the last time we saw him alive.
Parker says it was chaotic, his grandmother pleading for help.
She ran next door to try to get the white man help, but he wouldn't help. And daylight came, seemed like daylight would never come. Oh my goodness.
The next morning, Parker took the first train out of town.
So when I got to Chicago, they took me straight to Emmett Till's mother's house. Of course, they had a visual, now it's Monday. I think it's Monday night, and still 2 days ago, they haven't found him yet, so.
Why do you think she never asked you what happened?
I don't know, but I always felt, I guess the survivor's guilt, they call it, to be there and to be around her. I'm alive and her son is not. That bothered me. Even until I was grown, you know, it just, how you deal with that.
We know what happens next. Till's mutilated corpse is found days later in the Tallahatchie River. Emmett's mother, Mamie Till, decided the world would see the horrific truth, holding an open casket viewing for 5 days, changing the trajectory of the civil rights movement. But justice for Till and his family wouldn't come. Roy Bryan and J.W. Milam were charged and then acquitted of murder by an all-white jury.
I remember reading at 16 years old, this is crazy. I said, this boy not like this. And that's what we had to live with. That's what I had to live with.
Misquotes.
That's what they saying. That's what they writing. So he got what he deserved. 1955, that's what he deserved.
When you heard her accusations of sexual assault, Carolyn Bryant's accusations.
It's painful. It was hurting. I couldn't cope. You know, it was a while before we heard that. We know he whistled for we right there, you know. He ain't touched her. I was in there with him, nothing happened. Simeon's in there with him, nothing happened. So nobody know anything about that. But then this gives validity to it, justifying what they did to him.
How many Emmett Tills do you think there really are in history that we may not know about?
Just bukus of them. Just Mississippi's on one state had 500 lynchings. All states had a lot of lynchings. All of them down there. And all of them were deserved. They took the law into their own hand.
Reverend Parker wants it to be known they also had allies like this man, Robert Smith III.
Mississippi has just rested that case against Roy Bryant and T.W. Milam.
Mr. Smith and another guy said, I'm going to prosecute. You could see the fear in his face. Talked to his son, Jack Smith. He lives down in Tupelo now. And he said, Dad did the right thing, but it was not popular. His dad got the same threats, same treatment that blacks got. He had to have the state police at his house. We need to include that more.
It took decades for Parker to find his voice and speak his truth. He eventually became a reverend, which helped. But he says it was Till's mother, Mamie, who really made the difference.
Before she died, she asked me, she said, I want you to carry this on. I said, okay, but what can I, you know, I felt so helpless for it. I said, I will, not knowing that I'm gonna get the exposure like with you.
Reverend Parker says it still amazes him how far we've come as a nation in his lifetime. Though he's still aware, like any other disease, the compounds of racism might go dormant, but hasn't proven to be fully eradicated.
God has a way in time bringing things out.
What would you say to Emmett if you could tell him anything? Or
I said, boy, I did my best, man. I gave my best shot. Yeah, wish you were here. You'd be 80, I'm 85, you'd be 83 now, man.